Hey guys, this is David Wynn with the Mortgage Edge podcast brought to you by Click and Close Mortgage. Today we have a very special guest from Houston, Texas, Ellyn Mead. Ellie, how you doing?
Great. Living the dream, as I like to say.
Living the dream. Well, I know you're in your car. You're in
Yeah.
your car in between appointments because that's what you do. You're busy as heck, and I know you got another one right around the corner. So we appreciate you being on the podcast. So let's talk about how long have you been a realtor?
I'm starting my 9th year, so this is my second career. It's been a great run. I started. I'm an ag background, and I started in the commodity sector, and because I've got kind of an artsy brain, I did some design for years, and saw that I was giving away so many leads as a real estate agent. I retired from first job and transitioned right into real estate. It's been a good ride.
That's awesome. So you retire from the ag and you got into real estate. Why real estate? People don't just think about real estate.
Yeah, literally. I was doing interior design. So, like I said, I'm one of those people that likes to use their math brain and their design brain. So, I'd done math in, trading commodities for years and years and years. So when I, decided to retire from that and do design, I literally would be helping people that were about to put their house on the market. I had some friends that were agents. We all know more than one real estate agent. And I was giving away leads. And one day I did the math and said, I should be selling real estate. So that's exactly what happened. It wasn't something I dreamt about. It just kind of happened. And I love helping people. It fits all of my, all the things that I crave, like making, I do staging. I do lots of presentations of figures and math. So it combines all my skill sets, things that I enjoy, and I love helping people. So it works out for me. It's been a good fit.
So you still have your design business, or are you full-time real estate?
It's faded away. I didn't give it, if you don't give it oxygen, it dies. So no, not really. If a client of mine that I had for years and years and years were to call me, I probably wouldn't turn them down for, something small, but I wouldn't take on a large project now. I consider real estate my full-time job, and I enjoy it. There's nothing better.
Yeah. Well, you're very good at it. We only bring on top producers onto this show, and you're knocking it out of the park. So let's talk about a little bit about your family life. Are you married, kids?
I am. I'm married, and I have 3 grown children. So, and
you're a grandmother?
And
you're the youngest grandmother I've ever seen.
I just became a grandma, so that is probably the coolest title I've ever had. Yep, I have 3 kids. The oldest one lives in Tennessee, north of Nashville a little bit. My middle son made me a grandma, and he and his wife live in Mississippi, and my youngest is also in Tennessee, and she lives south of Nashville, about 30 miles.
Why is everybody moving to Tennessee? What's in Tennessee?
Well, I like to think that I raised them to leave, and they had wings, and I did something right, so they left home as fast as they could fly. But it could be that they
empty nester.
Yeah, empty nester. My
just you and your husband.
Yep, and my husband and I travel back and forth between Arkansas and Texas, and I also have a license to practice real estate in Arkansas.
Y'all have a house there? What's in Arkansas other than practicing there?
Yeah, my husband works for a company called Tyson, and they about 2 years ago asked all of their employees to move to corporate. Corporate is in Bentonville, Arkansas. Or Fayetteville, Arkansas, Springdale, Arkansas. It's like they call it the northwest corner of Arkansas. And you can't tell when one city ends and the other one starts. So Springdale is actually where their corporate office is. And so we bought a house there, and he comes back and forth. I go back and forth. It works. It's kind
That's
of nice,
awesome. That's
actually.
awesome.
Yeah. And then I can go see him via Mississippi, and that's like perfect, right? It's not even out of the way. And
Well,
I actually,
Arkansas is a great. It's beautiful there.
it is beautiful. It is beautiful. Yeah. And so it'll be nice. When I decide to live in Arkansas full time, I'll be about 7 hours from my mom. I lost my dad about a year ago, and she still lives on the farm. So, and she's in her late 80s. She would not want me to tell you how old she is, but she's still dragging brush and living by herself. So she's doing great. But from Houston, that's a 14-hour drive. From Arkansas, it's about 7.5.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's on kind of central. It's 8 hours to all my kids at the most. Since they're not going to live
Well,
by me, we're threatening to live by them. See, right? So they keep moving away. You can run,
there you
but you can.
go. It's time to buy a house in Tennessee.
That's right. I have one. My daughter went to school there, so I bought her a house when she started school there.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And is she living in it, or is it just y'all
She,
renting it out now?
no, she's still there. She went to college on a scholarship to play softball. She's a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And she completed her fabulous run there statistically. She did awesome. And then they kept her. So she's now a coach there.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Well, Ellyn, let's talk about the real estate market in Houston.
it's
How is
awesome.
it?
It's great. Um, I love real estate, and I love it when somebody says, "How's the market?" That's your 30-second elevator spiel, but really, it's a great market. Everyone lives in a house, wants to buy a house, wants to rent a house. What more could you ask for? Last year was a little harder year than some. We had the last quarter for sure where the world kind of stopped and was watching the news, but we came out of the gates kind of scrappy in January, and the market is good. I think we in Houston understand that you can build wealth with a house payment in the 6 or 7% interest rate, and that's a doable number for anybody looking for a property. And yeah, we're just still selling. There was a little bit of a downturn in 2024, but I think it's going to come back strong in 2025. Just
What?
fewer number of buyers last year.
Yeah, yeah. They said, I wasn't around for the 2008 market crash, but they said, 2024 was the worst market in 16 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where they get that stat or whatever. So,
Well,
uh,
I saw some numbers that spoke to that. There were some pockets of the country for sure that were really hit hard. Houston it may have stayed, a little more steady because of our industry here. Um, and it's a huge city, so there's always people coming in and out, testing out.
are you all over Houston? Because Houston's massive.
Um, I try not to be in Houston. In some cities, some MLSs, you're in Texas. We're allowed to practice anywhere, but
Right.
what they ask you to do is understand and know your market. At one point in my married life, I lived on the west side of Houston, so I know the 290-1960 area really well, and Spring and Huffman and that, or all of that area, and Waller. We used to play out there, and then we moved to the other side, the east side of Kingwood, or Houston, into Kingwood, and that is all of what I understand, or that I market to, is north of I-10. So I live and play and have kids that lived and played in the Heights, Memorial area, I'll get into if that's an occasion. I've done some condos downtown, but I stay north of I-10. I don't do much south of I-10. I don't know that area. I wouldn't know the water districts. You know, you have wind there because of hurricanes. It's a whole different program. So I stay north of I-10.
Yeah, I love it that you specialize. So, and how do you, at this point in your career, how do you get your leads? Is it all organic? Are you part of the Zillow online paid leads? How do you get your customers?
No, sir, I've never paid for leads. I when I first started real estate, did not know how to transition from corporate America, where where I knew how to do my job every day, to an organic process of looking for leads. I knew that I didn't want to pay for them because, I'd heard enough people talking about how um, not good leads are that came from Zillow. You might have somebody with poor credit. You might have somebody that was just, not able to sleep that night and looked at a couple, 3 or 4 houses and typed their name in and they're not ready. While those are not bad leads, they're not what I was looking for. I had a friend that had been in real estate about 12 years, and she told me about a program called Ninja. So 8 years ago, I took a class, Ninja Selling. There's a book. It was life-changing. I would not say that that's the only way to sell real estate, but that's how I started. And I have made it my own over the course of the last 8 years, and it's wonderful. So I do lots of phone calls. I write letters, thank you cards, old school. I don't spend a lot of money doing anything but being good to people. That's what I do. I try to treat others the way I want to be treated. And, there's nothing better than getting a pat on the back. So I have friends whose kids make the paper. I'll clip that article and send it to them. And that's for no other reason than I hope they remember my name if they know somebody getting ready to sell a house. And because, if they're like my kids, you didn't even know where they were going to be in the paper, let alone get your own little article on them. So it's kind of nice. And, everything I do is organic, and ultimately, yes, they, bring me business or clients, but really it's not about that for me. It's just about moving through life and helping people.
I think that's the privilege we have of working in real estate, is because we grow deep relationships,
Yeah.
unlike corporate America and stuff like that. Like you become friends with with your clients,
Absolutely.
and you do stuff like this.
So
You go
I
deep.
have definitely, because I have some clients that were clients when I met them, through a friend, but over the course of that 8 or 9 years, they have given me multiple leads, and not because I wasn't a good real estate agent, but because exactly what you're saying, David, we're friends now. That became it was a business relationship where we became friends. And I liken that to similarly to, if you sat next to someone at corporate America for 10 years, you have to become friends, right? So it's kind of the
Right.
same. It's kind of the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, so I'll share some stats with you. Rates are coming down. They're expecting rates to come down this year. And over the course of the next 3 years. February was probably the busiest February in the last, they say, five years. So I think the amount of activity is boosting. We've seen more mortgage applications come in for buyers, but listings, they seem to still be sitting out there. I think days on listing days on average is between 60 to 120 days right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. That isn't very much fun. Let me tell you, if you put your house on the market and you were watching the news for the last 4 years and you know that houses were getting multiple offers during COVID and they were sitting for, getting offers in 2-3 days, and now your house has sat 90 days plus.
Yeah.
Lots of those clients looking at me like, are you that wrong? And, are you good at this? Why is my house sitting? Well, we had more inventory than we'd had in years and years and years. Probably for the last 4, and let's just say Kingwood, that market had more listings last year and right now than it had in a long time, since October, basically. We didn't have buyers. We had lots of people looking, tire kickers. Houses are getting shown, 20 times, and nobody's writing an offer. And that's not a one and done story. That's everybody's story. We had a lot of tire kickers. Just like the news says, I've had 3 closings in February so far. So I think it's moving. The bubble is moving now. I think we'll start selling. I think we'll see some more buyers actually pull the trigger, because we like to say you fall in love with the house and you date the rate. So if today your interest rate is 7 and, it falls to 5 in a couple of years, then you'll still own your beautiful favorite house. You'll just have a smaller payment. Or maybe you can apply the difference to pay for your house sooner. Those are all
awesome.
options.
Well, I mean, as such a successful real estate agent, does anything keep you up about your business?
Yeah, exactly what you asked me. When a house is sitting there and, I have taken professional photos. I have a great, a sign in the yard. I spend money on Matterport so you can physically walk through the homes that I put on the market. I have floor plans. I pass out flyers to the neighbors so that you can literally pick your own neighbor. The things that I do to market your house, and then they were sitting there for 90 days, that'll keep me up at night. Because I feel just as, I got used to the 3 offers in 6 days. Now, one of the things that I feel like I did during COVID that I'm still doing is all of those things. I didn't shorten my process. I didn't shortcut my sellers during COVID. I took professional photos. I did all of those things during COVID so that nothing has changed for me, except we experienced a little low in the market there for a minute. But I think, like I said, I'm optimistic. Everyone we know lives in a house, right? You either buying it, selling it, or renting it. So there's plenty to go around.
Well, here's what I tell people all the time. Housing is a pillar of the American economy. If housing goes down, the economy goes down. So I don't think housing is going to go anywhere. And here's the second thing. Millennials and generation, is it Generation X? It's not Generation Z. It's Generation X, I believe. Or maybe it's Z. Millennial Gen Z make up 75. Okay. I'm an X too. So millennial Gen Z makes up 75 million people that are looking to buy real estate. In fact, they're the largest population in the United States right now. So I think there's hope. There's more than hope. I think we're gonna, if interest rates go down, I think you're gonna see a buyer frenzy, and all of a sudden now there's gonna be no inventory. So we can only hope, right?
It's just wonderful to have those kind of problems, right? No matter what.
Well, real estate is cyclical, right? In
absolutely.
your 9 years that you've been in it, how you saw that 2020 pandemic. You saw the rate increases in 23 through 25.
Your
What
mobile
else have you
device is
seen?
still in the
It was
vehicle.
pretty, between 2012 and 2020, it was pretty consistent.
Right. Yeah.
So, well, Ellyn, I know you gotta go talk to people. And we definitely want to do this again. What did we not talk about that we should have talked about today?
I think we had a nice conversation. What does your side of the world look like for loans and things to help people move into the house of their dreams? I can find them the house of their dreams, and I know that you offer some programs that I like to talk about for my buyers that are like you talked about, the first-time buyers that have opportunity that they've never had before. During the pandemic, we had pretty cut and dried opportunities for loans, and now the loan industry is getting pretty creative, and that's exciting. I love to be able to offer those exciting things to my clients.
Well, there's two programs we have. One is a 5% down payment assistance program. That means whatever the loan amount, we'll get you up to 5% of the loan amount. So if you do an FHA, 3.5% down, that leaves you another 1.5% to put towards closing costs. And with a little help from you, they can basically move into a house at no cost. Our down payment assistance program, there's two programs. One's a forgivable, which means they never make a payment, and the other one's a repayable, where they make a small payment. And then our biggest one that we're really selling right now is our 100% financing FHA program called the SAM program. It's an internal program with us. Basically, if they qualify for an FHA loan, they can basically walk in with zero down, which is 80% of first-time homebuyers, just so you know, is using some kind of products out there to get into the house, whether they have money or not.
Yeah, and those are awesome. Those are all great things. Those are the kind of things that I like to be able to share and talk about. I mean, everybody talks about the interest rate, but you can do one of your programs and save way more money long-term than just the interest rate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Ellie, if the people in Houston want to find you, and I know they do, and I want you to become my realtor, how do they find you? How do they get hold of you?
Phone, email, my website. I can start with that. Ellyn.mead@gmail.com is my email. Ellyn Mead sells houses. Ellyn Mead Realtor. If you Google my name, you will find my website. Usually pops up right away. My number 713-454-9313. I would love to hear from you. Ready to buy or sell?
And you guys are watching. Yep. And if you guys are watching live, y'all saw that go across the lower thirds. And if I'm looking for real estate, whether it's buying or selling, there's only one person I'm calling, and that's Ellyn Mead in Houston, Texas. Well, Ellie, thanks for being with us today. It's been a pleasure. It's Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day. Have a great weekend. Thanks for being with us today, folks. I'm David Wynn with the Mortgage Edge Podcast. See you next time.